Now, the type of images usually used on web pages are GIF, JPEG, and portable network graphics format. We'll take a look at each one of these. Here we have a GIF. A GIF can have a background color configured to be transparent. There are programs that allow you to specify a part of the image as transparent. That way the background doesn't show. So here, notice there's no background for the image itself. It just shows the background of what's on the web page. Here we have one saved without transparency. Notice how it's blocked off, so its background is displayed. The graphics interchange format is best used for line art and logos. You have a maximum of 256 colors. One color can be configured as transparent. They can be animated, which means you can have a series of images, one on top of the other, and they'll display in order from one to the last one. You can have them loop, so it does the same thing over and over. It uses a lossless compression. That means that it compresses the file, and when it uncompresses, it has the exact same image as it did before. And it can be interlaced in that every other line will be rendered, and this gets the image up a little bit quicker. Next we have JPEG. It's used for photographs. You get up to 16.7 million colors. Unlike the other image, this is a lossy compression, which means when it's compressed, some of the original information is lost and it can't be recovered. This cannot be animated, it cannot be made transparent, and progressive JPEG is similar to interlaced display, which means every other line will render. Then we have portable network graphic format. It supports millions of colors. It supports multiple levels of transparency, even though most browsers do not support that multiple levels, so you usually limit it to one. It supports interlacing. It uses lossless compression, so when it's compressed and then when it's uncompressed, it gets back the exact same information that it started. It combines the best of GIF and JPEG, and browser support is growing for it. So this is how we configure an image on a web page. Here we have image source. We have the file name. Notice this file name will be in the same folder wherever this page is. We have an alternate attribute, and this is displayed if for some reason the image can't be displayed on the user's device. Either it can't be found or that browser doesn't support this image format. We'll have an alt image, and you should always include that. You have a height and a width. Notice they're in double quotes, and this sets the height and width of the image regardless of what the underlying image is set to. But they should match. They should have the same height and width in the actual size as it is here. This is a different one where we have the source. We've placed the dog JPEG in our images folder. This helps organize our site so not all our JPEGs are interlaced with all our HTML images and all our CSS files. And we'll see an example of this a little bit later. So this is how you do an image into a web page, and you put this wherever you want the image to appear. You're required to configure the alt attribute. It's the alternative text to convey the meaning or intent of the image. It's not the file name of the image. And use alt equals with nothing for purely decorative images. So some people may have web browsers that speak to them, so when they can't see the image, it'll speak what's in the alt text tag. If your site uses image links for the main navigation, provide simple text links at the bottom of the page. And here's an example of using an image as a hyperlink. Notice we have image source here. Right, so we have image source home.gif, the height and the width of it. We gave an alt name to it, and then we wrap that with an anchor reference to go to the index.html page. So when the user would click on this image, they would be taken to image.html. Browsers automatically add a border to image links. To configure CSS to eliminate the border, in our image tag, we put border style none. A lot of times what you want to do to help speed up the loading of your web pages is to put small images on there. So here we have a small image. So image source, small.jpg, alt, country road. We give it a width and a height. And then we have an anchor reference there with the big JPEG. So when they click on this image, the larger image downloads. And the reason we don't want to put the larger image because we want to speed up our web pages. And only if the user finds it interesting, they'll know that if they load a larger image, it's going to take a large amount of time. So image optimization, we're in the process of creating an image with the lowest file size that still renders in a good quality image. We balance image quality and file size. And the reason for that is the larger the file, the longer it takes to download. Not everybody has high-speed internet still. On some places with high-speed internet, the file size won't matter. But you should make sure that you balance these two out, because not everybody's always connected. A lot of people connect over their phones now, and they may not be in a high-quality reception area. Photographs taken with digital cameras are not usually optimized for the web. Things we can do for image optimization is reduce the file size of the image. That means it'll download quicker. Reduce the dimensions of the image to the actual width and height of the image on the web page. So if we want the image to be 100 by 100 on our web page, we should make that image 100 by 100. Not make it real large and make the browser shrink it down to the appropriate size. Some of the editing tools you can find out on the web is GIMP, it's free. Adobe Fireworks, Adobe Photoshop, both of those are commercial products that you have to pay for. And here's another one, pixlr.com/editor, and that one's also free. When you choose names for image files, use all lowercase letters. Do not use punctuation symbols and spaces. Do not change the file extension. Keep your file name short but descriptive. i1.gif is probably too short. My image with my dog on my birthday.gif is too long. Dog bday.gif may be just about right. So use common sense here for your image file names. So this is what I was talking about earlier. We should take all our images and place it in its own folder and call it images. So here's our root folder. Here's our home page, the index. Here's our CSS. And notice we have an images folder, and all the images are in that particular folder. So the way that changes is the image source, as I showed earlier, we have image, and then we have the name of the file that we want, home.gif. So this is part 2 of chapter 4.